I just heard the news, and it's really not only me, but I think the whole cricketing nation, the whole nation is going to be saddened by that news, because we won't be able to see a little master, after his 200 test. And cricket without Sachin, I don't know how it's going to be. Like, I think the whole, how they say, all the glamour of the game is going to go. Glamour in a different way, in a respectful way. It's going to go away, because, no matter what people, talk about, they always talk about Sachin. No matter where you go, if the cricket name comes up, people has to talk about Sachin Tendulkar, and he has given services for so many years. There are cricketers playing, at the age of 23, and, he has played cricket for 23 years of international cricket, and cricket without him, I still can't imagine.
Well, exactly. Like you said, that slot is going to be very difficult to fill. Those are very big shoes to fill. But, what is your favorite moment or your favorite innings or favorite performance of all time from Sachin Tendulkar?
See, for me, obviously there are many. But personally, for me, I remember playing with him for the first time in the test match in Sydney in 2004. That was my favorite moment, when he got this double 100. Because a lot of people were talking about his batting, and he produced that inning. And I was there on the non-striker end as well, when at that time he was playing on, around 200. And he was giving me some advice as well, how to go about it, because it was my first experience facing those fast bowlers. So I really think that was my favorite moment. And plus, at the same time, for me, I was lucky to have him on the mid-off all the time at starting of my career, because he used to help me out a big way. To improve my cricket as well. So I really think there are a lot of youngsters going to miss out playing with him, against him, and learning so much from him, just by seeing him, the way he conducted himself on and off the field.
Yeah. Well, Irfan, that's the thing. I mean, everyone we've been speaking to, people who've worked with him, played with him, they all talk about what a wonderful person he's always been and how he's conducted himself. According to you, what was really the secret behind that longevity? He's played, like you said, for, more than 23 years. Something that kept his motivation going. What was so special about him that kept him going for so long?
I think he kept repeating same thing again and again. I think that's the main reason he did that for so many years. A lot of people come, they change the way they play, the way they behave, the way they practice. I don't think he has changed. Obviously, I've seen him in 9 years, 10 years of international cricket I've seen. I don't think so. He's changed a bit in those 10 years, and he's been playing for 23 years, not this 10 years when I played. So the same thing he did the repetition again and again, and I think that's what makes him so special, and that's what make him, stay there for so many years.
When you came into the team as a youngster, Irfan, was there any particular moment that you can remember where perhaps you were surprised at the humility of this great man who's called the God of cricket? Anything that you can tell us about how he actually went out of his way to help youngsters like yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Not only one story, there are many stories. Actually, we can write a book on that. Just
tell us one.
No. There are many in terms of, there is one where I came in the Indian team as well, and I asked him, how to go about in international cricket. So I was thinking in my mind that I will go to him, but he actually came to me and he started giving me advice. And for me, that was a big moment, that sometimes you get scared that you're going to go to such a big player and going to ask him, but he actually breaks the ice and generally comes to youngsters, and then he gives advice. He's trying to protect them, especially when they come in the Indian side. He has done that to me as well. For me, most importantly, what he does to the bowlers as well, because he's a world-class batsman, everyone knows that. But there was always a fast bowler in him, and he knew how to handle the fast bowler as well. If you ever seen, he was always there on mid-off and mid-on when some youngster is playing for first few times. He was there for me as well. So I think those experiences, I'm not going to be able to forget ever.
And, what do you think will be the most fitting finale for him? There's so much talk about where he's going to play that 200th test match, whether it's going to be Eden Gardens or Mumbai. What do you think would be more fitting?
Look, for him, I think the whole country is his. So it doesn't matter where he plays in Calcutta or Mumbai, because I'm pretty sure he's going to get the best send-off any cricketer ever got, wherever he plays, either it's Kolkata or Mumbai.
Well, fair enough. But, let's talk a little bit, Irfan, about what he's done abroad. And he was, of course, part of that Indian team that really shattered the myth of, tigers at home and lambs abroad. He was part of that team that started winning so much abroad. Sometimes under very trying conditions, do you know of what really was the secret behind him being able to perform in some very, very trying conditions abroad where the Indian team really sort of changed its reputation?
I really think, for me, if you talk about technically, obviously I'm not qualified to talk about any technicality, how he has done that abroad, because I really can't talk about him in terms of that regard. But what he did, that he adjusted those conditions really well, and that's why he performed really well. And he always talked about, I remember him talking to me about in South Africa. So he said to me once that, when you play abroad, especially where the more bounce is there, you need to make sure that you avoid back foot punches, especially when we're so used to doing that in Indian pitches where there is no bounce. So if you avoid that, you have so many other shots as well where you can score runs. So it was a very simple thing, but I think those simple things made him so special. So that's why he was so successful abroad as well. And he has performed where a lot of Indian teams have struggled, but he was the one who used to score runs abroad as well as in India.
Somebody retires, but it's a especially sad day for cricket when somebody has the stature of Sachin retires. So I hope he goes out with 100. I hope he does it in style. But of course, everybody in cricket will be very sad. But unfortunately, Father Time catches up with everybody. So I think he's made a good move. He's had such a long and distinguished career that he deserves to go out on a good note.
Well, absolutely. But, you talked about that long career. That's what everyone's always going to remember about him. Not just greatness, but greatness sustained for, almost a quarter of a century. What do you attribute it to?
I mean, obviously, a very solid technique. He's got a terrific temperament. He's the kind of person who doesn't get too flustered about anything. And, he's obviously put in an enormous amount of practice. Everybody thinks it just happens, but it doesn't, because for all the greatness, you've still got to put in the time at the practice nets, and I'm sure Sachin has done all of that. So, hopefully he goes out as everybody wants him to go out with 100.
I'm sure you've watched some of his performances in his innings very, very keenly. Any one innings that really stands out in your mind, any one performance, or even a favorite shot from him?
I've always loved it. Sachin plays it to perfection. He just plays it so well. He's got beautiful technique, beautiful balance. So if one shot stands out for me, it's the straightness of his bat, and that's always been the hallmark of the way he's played, and something that I always really enjoy.
First of all, this news is like something everyone in India will feel a little sad about, because the reason why a lot of people started playing cricket was Sachin Paji. And I can proudly say this to my next generation or my grandkids, that I've played and shared dressing room with Sachin Paji, and I had this privilege of talking and sharing his experience during the Test cricket or ODI cricket, and even for Mumbai Indians also. So I really feel proud about it, and something. I don't have anything to say. I am not able to express my feeling, but it's really something different, cricket without Sachin Paji in India.
Yes, I can feel the emotion in your voice, Pragyan. Now, what has been your best memory with him? Perhaps as you were playing with him, or even an innings that you watched as you were growing up.
As Hello.
Yes, Pragyan.
Yeah. The thing is that the most the memory, the thing that I'm going to carry is like when I made my Test debut. He was the one who gave me the cap, and that is a very special memory. And even talking to him during the Test matches, how to get a batsman out, or what are the different things you can try when the partnerships are building. So I always used to make sure, he stands at mid-on or mid-off so that, he gives me advice, because he's played so much of cricket and he knows so much about the wickets and the conditions and the batsman's mindset. So these are the certain things which I always used to make sure, I discuss with him by talking to him whenever he's available.